Hi YouTube, and welcome back to episode 2 of Knives and Beer. On this episode I'll be drinking Columbus Brewing Co., since I am from Columbus, and I'll be talking about Chinese knives. So I'm going to open it with my JW Knives Zirconium Bandicoot bottle opener. Opens up nice and easy. Okay, so Chinese knives, they've gotten a lot more popular over the last couple years. If you're in the knife community, especially on Instagram, you've probably seen a lot more companies come about from China, or American companies sending or having some knives made in China, like Spyderco, a mainly US company, having a Chinese budget line. So, I guess I'll start off with that. So these are about $30. They are the Chinese Spyderco budget line. Fit and finish and everything is really not too bad, but really not too great for Spyderco's, and kind of compared to other knives, especially compared to these other Chinese knives, the fit and finish is not that great. But for whatever, $25 or $30, it's not bad. And when they came out, it was kind of expected to be that way. You know, you're spending $25 or $30 and it's made in China, it's cheap, the steel's not too great, just a cheap Chinese 8CR 13 MOV steel. But then you compare it to all of these titanium frame blocks with bearings and everything, titanium milled pocket clips, it kind of starts to look bad. And Spyderco, I'll talk about them a little later, but also Boker, as you probably know, has the Boker Plus line. So it's a lot bigger than the Spyderco budget line. The Spyderco budget line probably has 4 or 5 different knives. The Boker Plus line has tons of different knives. I don't even know how many. Multiple new ones every year, I'm pretty sure, and they've kept making a lot of them. Fit and finish hasn't been too crazy on them, especially not starting out, I don't think, but then they have gotten a lot better. I've heard. I don't have any other ones other than this. I've held other ones, and some of the older ones did. You could tell they really weren't the best, but this one I haven't had any problems with. The centering is kind of hard to tell because it is a chisel grind, but that space between the G10 liner has stayed the same and it hasn't rubbed or anything. You'd definitely be able to tell on that satin. So this is a really quality built knife. It's only 440C blade steel, which is pretty cheap compared to all these other steels, and it's not too great, but still nice and cheap, cheaper than it would be made in the US probably. And then to Chinese companies like Riot Knives. So they only have their knives made in China. If you've probably heard about them before, they're really popular. They have a lot of different models. This is one of the earlier models, the Hills, and then one of the newer models, the Event Horizon. So they're both on bearings, they're both flippers. This one has a milled pocket clip, this one is stamped, and I believe it's titanium. Both titanium frame locks, obviously. The hardware on this one, you can tell, is a lot better. Custom looking pivot and everything. Both S35VN, which a lot of these full tie Chinese companies are using. Same with that, full tie S35VN Kaiser. So I don't know if Kaiser is a Chinese company. I know they make all their knives in China, but I don't know if it's owned here in the US and then all their knives are made in China. But all their products are from China, I'm pretty sure, so it's pretty much the same thing. There's a lot of other knife companies in China, like Reich knives, Reiki knives, I don't know how to pronounce it, or the exact way you pronounce it. We Knives is a new one that is really taking off, and Real Steel is a nice budget line of Chinese-made knives. And Factor Equipment is a new one that I just saw at the knife store near my house. And they are making really cool titanium frame locks with carbon fiber and full tie and S35VN, I believe, and M390. They're really high quality feeling. I haven't seen them on Instagram at all, so relatively new and unheard of. Really cool. Be sure to check that out, Factor Equipment. I'm pretty sure it's Chinese, and I think they mainly made flashlights and other stuff like that. But one of the things that I really like about these Chinese knives, once you get past the not buying US made goods and everything, and Chinese knives kind of have the baggage of being not quality and stuff, kind of like this Spyderco. Kind of cheapy, like they sent it out to be made, but when it's a Chinese company with a machine shop making their own knives and everything, they really do make really quality knives, fit and finish wise, everything like that. Just really, really well made. Also, their materials they use, so they're using mainly titanium and S35VN, a lot of carbon fiber, some other super steels, but those are the main kind of ingredients to one of these Chinese knives. Bearings on some of them, washers on others. Another thing is the price. So if you're looking at a full tie frame lock or something like that in the US, here's one from the US, Zero Tolerance 0801, which is only about $200. So nice and about the same price. Detent's a little soft, fit and finish isn't perfect, but it's really nice. That's about the cheapest you can find a full tie US made frame lock. So this one was $170, that was $170, and this was I think $220. So really great quality knives for a low price. This Strider was about $400. I think they're about $420 now, and its fit and finish is definitely not the same as these. So it's not bad fit and finish, but lockup is about 50%, maybe a little more. It kind of pivot comes loose and everything. Not bad still, not bad fit and finish, but still not as good as these, which are like this Event Horizon. I've never found anything wrong with it fit and finish wise. It's just fit and finish perfectly when I don't hit a book. Completely centered and everything. Another thing is their innovation. So Spyderco was kind of a young company innovating. They pretty much invented the pocket clip and everything like that. They invented a lot of things that modern tactical knives, modern like pocket knives have, but they've kind of fell behind the whole titanium flippers or full tie frame lock flippers kind of took over, and a lot of them from China, and Spyderco hasn't really caught up with that. Their titanium frame locks have been they've had a lot of stick. They haven't really felt quality when you're kind of pushing as hard as you can on a frame lock to try to get the knife unlocked. It's not really a great feeling, and that's how a lot of the Spyderco knives I've handled have felt. So they've kind of felt like they're moving a lot forward. The new Riot, I don't know the name of it, but it has a detachable blade. So 3 or 4 screws in the back of the spine of the blade come undone, and the blade is removable, and you could replace it with a recurve blade is all I've seen so far, but I guess if they do other ones like serrations, then you could replace with that. So that's really cool. So they're kind of taking over on that, kind of moving forward quicker, and also their new models. So Riot Knives comes out with multiple new models every year. They've kind of slowed down more since they are releasing knives that are up in the $500 range, like the new Tashi Barucha Future collaboration, which is an amazing looking knife. One of my favorite knife designs, let alone Riot design. We Knives is really, really new, like a year old probably, that I've known about them or seen them on Instagram, and they've released multiple new models, probably 10 new models since I've known about them. Real Steel, just constantly pumping out new designs. Kaiser, kind of the same way, less, but still a lot of new designs. And like I said, they're all quality, or all the ones that I've held, really. There are some things I don't like about them, like how We Knives has, they do a lot of anodizing, a lot of different colors and everything, but they also do a lot of coatings, like just a black looking DLC coating, and they kind of only offer it in a plain handle with a DLC blade or a plain blade with a DLC handle, and no full DLC or full plain knife, which is, I'd rather have no DLC on it, but they haven't really offered too much of that. So some of them aren't too in touch with the US market, really, which is probably their biggest market. Reich Knives has a lot of weird anodizing, a lot of different angles and stuff that are anodized different colors. So really bright. Kaiser Knives did a lot of weird things where they did flames in the blade or in the handle and stuff milled into it. So it was a titanium handle, and it had kind of like a flame pattern. Another one had, I think, Chinese symbols in it. Just kind of bad looking compared to just a plain blade. And I think they kind of just missed what they thought the American knife consumer wanted. So they kind of felt a little out of touch, but that was a little while ago. We Knives is still evolving. It's only like whatever I said, like a year old. So just the pace that all the Chinese companies have grown so quickly, especially going from knives that are worth $170. At least when I bought them, they kind of went down a little in price by the time I bought them, but being worth $170, then now making $400 knives and $500 knives. Reich Knives and Riot have both done integral knives. I don't know if We Knives has. Spyderco has done one integral, and it took them a really, really long time to come out with it. Riot seemed quicker to come out with their integral future, and I think they might have done more. But just the innovation, the speed at which they work, and definitely the quality just sets them apart. If you want to buy American made, by all means do it. We know American companies still make great knives, like Zero Tolerance. I'll always love Zero Tolerance, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the new Gus Sacchini or GTC design. That's really all for this episode. Another US made knife. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Tune into next episode and watch last episode if you missed it. More to come. More topics to talk about. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about, and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.